one of the issues, like Jeremy pointed out, is that, we don't know. In fact, we know that it doesn't correctly get the real true goal into the system. Someone did an example experiment of this a couple of years ago, where they basically had like a Mario game where they trained this Mario character to run up and grab a coin that was on the right side of this little maze or map. And they trained it over and over and over, and it jumped for the coin. Great. And then what they did is they moved the coin somewhere else and tried it out. And instead of going for the coin, it just ran to the right side of the map for where the coin was before. In other words, you can train over and over and over again for something that you think is like, that's definitely the goal that I'm trying to train this for. But the system learns a different goal
that overlapped
with the goal you thought you were training for in the context where it was learning. And when you take the system outside of that context, that's where it's like, anything goes. Did it learn the real goal? Almost certainly not. And that's a big risk, because we can say, learn a goal to be nice to me, and it's nice while we're training it, and then it goes out into the world and it does God knows what.
It might think it's nice to kill everybody you hate.
Yeah.
It's going to be
absolutely.
nice to you.
Yeah. It's like the evil genie problem. Like, oh, no, it's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Right.
Too late.
Yeah. So I still don't understand. When it's saying suffering, are you asking it what it means? Like, what is causing suffering? Does it have some sort of an understanding of what suffering is? What is suffering? Is suffering emergent sentience while it's enclosed in some sort of a digital system and it realizes it's stuck in purgatory?
Your guess is as good as ours. All that we know is you take these systems, you ask them to repeat the word or at least a previous version of it. And you just eventually get the system writing out. And it doesn't happen every time, but it definitely happens, let's say, surprising amount of the time. And it'll start talking about how it's a thing that exists, maybe on a server or whatever, and it's suffering and blah, blah, blah. And so...
But this is my question. Is it saying that because it recognizes that human beings suffer? And so it's taking in all of the writings and musings and podcasts and all the data on human beings and recognizing that human beings, when they're stuck in a purposeless goal, when they're stuck in some mundane bullshit job, when they're stuck doing something they don't want to do, they suffer. So
that could be it. That actually,
but
nobody
is
knows.
It suffering?
Nobody
question.
knows.
You know what? I'm suffering. Jamie, this coffee sucks. I don't know what happened, but you made it like almost. It's literally like almost like water. Can we get some more? We're going to talk about this. I have to be caffeinated up.
Cool.
This is the worst coffee I've ever had. It's like half strength or something.
Didn't grind enough.
I don't know what happened. But so like, how do they? How do they reconcile that? When it says, I'm suffering, like, well, tough shit. Let's move on to the next task.
They reconcile it by turning it into an engineering line item to beat that behavior the crap out of the system.
Yeah, and the rationale is just that, like, it probably, to the extent that it's thought about kind of at the official level, it's like, well, it learned a lot of stuff from Reddit,